denouncing Ottoman oppression. This was music in the air. They were longing to hear this. And I spoke to them for an hour or more. When you go home, please go to YouTube and listen to the lecture. All right? There are powerful voices, powerful people in Belgrade who don't want me to succeed. Oh yeah? They want Serbia to be part of NATO. And so you will see in the middle of the lecture, you will see a clip where the camera focuses on the audience, and all the audience are talking to each other and showing each other their handphone and talking. Nobody paying attention. And the impression is created, well, nobody's interested in the lecture. No. That clip was before I arrived. Before I arrived. And they took that and they put it into the middle of the lecture to give the bad impression, you see. I remained in Belgrade for 10 days, and not one instance of hatred for Islam. None. None. So you can see from both Russia and the Balkans, you can see that Orthodox Christianity is changing its view and turning towards more positive relationship with Islam. Russia is a part of that Orthodox Christian world. Not only is Russia a part of that Orthodox Christian world, but Russia is the leader. So is Russia is in the Quran? The answer indirectly, yes. Russia is the leader of the Orthodox Christian world, which the Quran is saying will become closest in love and affection for you Muslims at that time when the Jews are showing the greatest hatred, which is now. Is that all there is in the Quran? No, there's more. That part of the Christian world is known in the Quran as Rome. And there's a whole surah of the Quran called Surah Al-Rum. And the word Rum occurs in the Quran once, at the beginning. Gulifat al-Rum. Rome has been defeated, Orthodox Christianity, which was the Byzantine Orthodox Christian Empire. But Allah says, وَهُمْ مِنْ بَعْدِ غَلَبِهِمْ سَيَغْلِبُونَ, that they will be successful shortly after this defeat. And on that day when they are successful, وَيَوْمَئِذٍ يَفْرَحُ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ, you Muslims are going to celebrate. When Rome is successful, you Muslims are going to celebrate. So the Quran establishes a positive relationship between Muslims and Rome. Are you going to turn to 600 years of bloody history in the Balkans to contradict the Quran? Be careful. These words are not meant for Damansara, they're meant for Bosnia and Albania and Kosovo and Macedonia and Montenegro. You cannot take 600-700 years of bloody history to try to contradict the Quran. Your primary loyalty is to the Quran, your primary guidance comes from the Quran. So use the Quran to seek to understand history. Don't try to contradict the Quran. So the Quran has established a positive relationship between Muslims and Orthodox Christians. Is that all the days in the Quran? No, there's more. There's more. The Jews responded and said, when the pagan Arabs sent a delegation to ask them, how can we tell whether this man, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, is indeed a prophet, as he said he's a prophet? They said, ask him these three questions, which only a prophet can answer. In my book, Surah Al-Kahf, about an age at the back, deals with those three questions. One of the questions was, ask him about the great traveler who traveled to the two ends of the world. But when Allah answered the question, He first repeated the question and then He answered it. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. And they question thee, O Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam, about Dhul Qarnayn, a great traveler who traveled to the two ends of the world.
Sorry. The car plate number WEX8982 belongs to any one of you, and DBX2148. Please move your car to the other side. WEX8982 and DBX2148. No?
Okay. The great traveler who traveled to the two ends of the world is Dhul Qarnayn. Dhul Qarnayn means the one who possesses two qarns. That's not his name. His name is not Dhul Qarnayn. This is his nickname. What is his name? We don't know. His nickname. You had a prime minister here named Badawi. Yes. And I saw in the newspaper Pala. Nickname. Big nickname. So, nickname. What is his name? We don't know. But he's one who possesses two qarns. Qarn can mean horn, and qarn can mean age. But every time Allah uses the word qarn in the Quran, He always uses it to mean age, and He's never used it to mean horn. So clearly, we are good foundation when we say Dhul Qarnayn will be someone who impacts on two ages. Two ages. And then Allah describes the first journey to the setting of the sun and the second journey to the rising of the sun. But He doesn't stop there. No. The Jews wanted to know whether He knew about the third journey. That's the question. And Allah answered. The third journey took Him to Gog and Magog, which is a big sign of Akhir Al-Zaman. Only a prophet would know about Gog and Magog. So the first age, when Dhul Qarnayn traveled to the setting of the sun, refers to a period of time before Gog and Magog were released into the world. And the second age refers to a time after Gog and Magog are released into the world. Two ages. Someone, we don't know his name, we do not know his name. Someone who is endowed by Allah with power. That much we know. And secondly, his power rests on the foundations of faith. Schoolboy was said the only one who has faith is a Muslim. So those who came before Islam don't have faith. No, schoolboy, keep quiet. The story of Dhul Qarnayn is from that time before Gog and Magog are released into the world. Okay? How are you going to use your power? He travels to the setting of the sun. And then he comes upon a body of water which is the Quran described as Aynun Hamiyah, dark and murky. Aynun Hamiyah, dark and murky. If you're in a ship and you look down, you probably have visibility for only 1 meter. But if you're in the Mediterranean and in a ship and you look down, you could see probably a few meters. So the water in this body of water is dark and murky. all the commentators of the Quran are all in agreement that the Quran is referring to the Black Sea. That's why it's called Black Sea. The Black Sea. And Crimea is in the Black Sea. And Russia now controls Crimea. If you control Crimea, you control power in the Black Sea. Okay? So at this place, he comes across the people, the Black Sea. And Allah asks him, how are you going to deal with them? When power rests on the foundations of faith, how will power be used? And his response was, those who commit acts of dhulm, those who are unjust, wicked, who are oppressors, I'm going to punish them. So power will be used to punish the oppressor, punish the wicked. And those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct, I'll treat them nicely and reward them. But when they go to you, you will punish them as well. So at that time, when Gog and Magog had not been released, power was used by Zulkarnain in that region of the world in this way, to punish the oppressor. The Quran is telling us that when Gog and Magog are released, and when they spread out, وَهُمْ مِنْ كُلِّ حَدَبٍ يَنْسِلُونَ, and they spread out in all directions, and with their invincible power they take control of the world in the world order of Gog and Magog, at that time, in this region of the world in which the Black Sea is located, the world is going to witness something marvelous. And that is that power in this region of the world will once again be endowed by Allah to be a power that is irresistible. Yeah. Allah will give the power. And that power will rest on foundations of faith. And that power will be used to punish the oppressor. I had dinner in Belgrade at the home of a very distinguished person. And he invited an ambassador. I won't mention ambassador to which country. The ambassador heard that Imran Hosein does not visit any member state of NATO. So she made the mistake of asking me, why do you not visit NATO member states? So I gave her an answer. Maybe she might listen to this lecture and confirm that I'm speaking the truth. I gave her an answer to which perhaps she was not accustomed in the diplomatic community. We don't speak this bluntly. But my answer pleased my Serbian host very much. I said to Her Excellency, I do not visit member states of NATO out of respect for the blood and the tears of my people. That's my answer to her. The blood and the tears of my people. For NATO is the world's biggest oppressor today. So in that region of the world, power is going to emerge once again on the foundations of faith. And that power is going to be used once again. Remember, it is Zul Qarnain, 2 ages. That one already gone. When will the second one come? Has it come already? The second one. If it has, schoolboy, tell me when did it come. Ask the schoolboy for me to answer me. I am saying this is the second one now. If I am wrong, then schoolboy, tell me when did it come. Because I'm not aware. A power coming in that region of the world, irresistible power. That's Zulkarnain's power. But yes, I see it now. After the Bolshevik Revolution of 1917, which was the Jewish Revolution, to break the back of Christian Russia, and then communism and the godless atheist Soviet Union. Atheism, yeah, an atheist state. In Russia, an atheist state. You could imagine an atheist state in the United States and Britain and France and so on, because they don't go to church anymore. Their churches are now being sold, bingo halls. But not Russia. Russia's heart is spiritual. And in Russia you bring an atheist state, the Soviet Union. Could this have been by accident? No. If this was by accident, a cow can also jump over the moon. This is not by accident. They did this to break the back of Orthodox Christianity. That's why they did it. And they planned their plan, and Allah planned His plans. And Allah is the best of plans. That after 70, 80 years of communism in the Soviet Union and the oppression of the Orthodox Christians and Muslims, today Russia is returning to Orthodox Christianity. In the Western world, the new mantra is that a man can marry another man and get a marriage certificate. And anyone who differs with that is suffering from a disease called homophobia. Yeah, that's it. And on this side of the world, Russia said they banned it for 100 years. Illegal. Homosexuality is illegal in Russia and in the Orthodox Christian world. That is evidence. Russia is returning to her Christian faith. And that Russia is also a very powerful state. It is a nuclear state. It is capable of waging war. And we did all of this to tell you that from our perspective, using the Quran, we are now on the verge of momentous events in history, when power is going to be used one more time in the region of the Black Sea, in which Crimea is located, to teach the oppressor a lesson that he will never forget, to punish the oppressor, and to reward those who have faith and who are righteous in conduct. They want to wage war on Russia. And Russia is saying, we're not afraid of you. No, we're not afraid of you. And Russia has warned, don't mess with nuclear Russia, says Putin. Don't mess with nuclear Russia. If you want war, you'll get war. Russia has just intervened in Syria. We don't have the time to go to the Arab Spring. We don't have time to go to Libya. So we've got to cut out that to come to Syria. For 1 year, NATO has been waging war, aerial war, on ISIS, the Islamic State. The Islamic State, which receives its weapons and receives its money from the CIA and from Turkey, which is a NATO member state, and is therefore waging what would be called a CIA jihad, but I prefer to give it a more colorful name. I call it a Yankee jihad. This Islamic State. And they are dropping bombs on them for 1 year now. 1 year now, NATO, the biggest, largest, most powerful military force in the whole world, is waging war on ISIS for 1 year now. And for 1 year, ISIS is becoming stronger and stronger. So NATO, who are you fooling? Huh? Do you take us to be donkeys? So Putin waited for 1 year. And then he did two things. He got an official request from the Syrian government for assistance. The government of Syria is calling on us for assistance. And he went to the Russian parliament, and the Russian parliament gave him authority to respond and accept and to intervene. They didn't do that. Britain didn't do that. France didn't do that. And so Russia entered through the front door. They entered through the back door. And the Russian Air Force has been waging strikes for 3 weeks now. And in 3 weeks, Russia has already achieved more than NATO could have achieved in 1 year. So who are you fooling? Who are you fooling? They cannot allow Russia to destroy ISIS. No. Number one, because ISIS is their baby. They created ISIS. And they have plans for ISIS. They want to send Saudi Arabia into the garbage bin, and they want ISIS to take over from Saudi Arabia. So ISIS must park itself in Mecca and Medina with a new Khilafat, you know, the Yankee Khilafat. And ISIS must control the Hajj and so on. And all the donkeys in the world of Islam will accept that. All the donkeys in the world of Islam will accept that. That is Islam. Let me repeat it, so you won't be in any doubt about me. All the donkeys in the world of Islam, that's what I said, the donkeys in the world of Islam will accept that. But not those who have eyes and can see, and who have ears and can hear, who have some understanding. We're not fools. It's a Yankee jihad. They cannot allow Russia to destroy ISIS. That's their baby. Secondly, it will be too great an embarrassment for them. The Russia who they're trying to isolate and make Russia look like the devil, Russia is able to come on the stage of the world and achieve a spectacular victory in the full daylight of history and make NATO look like a bunch of fools. They can't allow that to happen. So then what will they have to do? Answer? They'll have to respond, whether they like it or whether they don't. They'll have to up the ante. They'll have to escalate the conflict. They'll have to find some excuse to intervene militarily to respond to the Russian intervention. And when they up the ante, Russia will come back and up the ante again. Because Russia is saying, we're not afraid of you. So where is this going to lead to? Answer? The Prophet ﷺ spoke about the Malhama. And he identified where the Malhama will take place. In that region of the world between Damascus and Turkey. That's where it's going to take place. And that's where the parties are already in place. I don't think Russia wants nuclear war. I don't think the American armed forces want nuclear war. No. America much prefers to wage war in Libya. Because you can wage war in Libya and go home and have dinner. But not Russia. Nuclear war means that they will use every single nuclear weapon that they have. It will be all-out war to the finish. And nuclear weapons don't destroy so many buildings as they destroy people. So there's going to be a war in which most of those who are fighting will be killed. You think the American armed forces want such a war? How many will be killed in this war that's coming? Has our Prophet spoken about it? Yes, he has. Tell the schoolboy for me. The Prophet has spoken about a war in which 99 out of every 100 will be killed. It's there in Sahih Bukhari. And if you go to YouTube and look at my lectures on Islam, the petrodollar and Russia's tryst with destiny, you'll see my analysis of that hadith. 99 out of every 100 will be killed. Can't be conventional warfare. No. Conventional warfare don't kill so many people. But nuclear weapons do. Nuclear weapon kills people. Yeah. So it looks very much as though it has to be a nuclear war in order for 99 out of every 100 to be killed. If you say to me that there are no nuclear weapons in the world, by all means you can keep on offering your viewpoint and try to get mankind to accept your viewpoint. But don't try to silence me. That's not fair. I don't stop you from giving your viewpoint. Why should you stop me ramming your views down my throat? No. No, that's not the way. If you say there are no nuclear weapons, there will be no nuclear war. By all means, certainly, do please offer your viewpoint and give the proof to support your viewpoint. Do it in a respectable way and let the people decide. Don't try to stop me and stampede me and silence me. That is not the right way. So yes, I'm saying that it is now inevitable that nuclear war is coming. We cannot avoid it. Not because Russia wants nuclear war. Not because NATO wants nuclear war. None of them want nuclear war. But because somebody else wants nuclear war. Who is the somebody else? Somebody else is someone who wants to succeed the United States as the next ruling state in the world. The Judeo-Christian Zionist Alliance knows it. They want Israel to replace the United States as the next ruling state in the world. So that in the same way that Pax Americana replaced Pax Britannica, you have read Jerusalem in the Quran, haven't you? If you don't know English, we have it in Bahasa outside now. Okay? In the same way that Pax Americana replaced Pax Britannica, so too Pax Judaica will replace Pax Americana. The US dollar is now in irreversible decline. The United States as a world power is now in irreversible decline, and Putin knows that. And Israel is preparing to replace the United States. But Israel is small, and the world is big. How can Israel rule the world? Yes, we can understand the United States. But how can Israel rule the world? Answer, either Israel has to become much bigger, or the world has to become much smaller. Which will it be? That's why they want nuclear war. That's why they want nuclear war. So that the world will become much smaller. My opinion, I can be wrong, my opinion is that you can't live in North America after nuclear war. It won't be habitable. Or Europe. No. Those will be wasteland. My opinion is that what is left of the world after the nuclear war would be a world that is small enough for Israel to manage. And therefore, we see a passage now from Russia to NATO, to Syria, to the Malhama, to Akhir Al-Zaman. And you know what happens after Israel takes over from the United States? The Dajjal's day, like a week, will begin. And when the week is ended, then the Dajjal will appear in human form. You also know that after the Malhama, there's going to be another very important event. What is that? The conquest of Istanbul. Oh, not Istanbul. The conquest of Constantinople will take place after the Malhama. Tell that to the people of Turkey for me, because they've been so brainwashed by 500-600 years of Ottoman garbage that they believe that Sultan Muhammad Fatih is the one who conquered Constantinople and fulfilled the prophecy of Prophet Muhammad alayhi salatu wasalam. Wrong, wrong, wrong. The conquest of Constantinople will take place after the Malhama. When that conquest of Constantinople takes place, the Bosphorus will be free of NATO, and the Russian Navy will then be able to pass through the Bosphorus into the Mediterranean, and that is a part and parcel of the effort which is going to liberate the Holy Land. When Nabi Isa alayhi salam comes, and Imam al-Mahdi comes, and the truth will triumph over all rivals, and justice will triumph over injustice and oppression. And with that, I thank you for your kind attention. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين.